Digital ID and digital currency may become the norm in the developed, okay, I read that wrong. 3, 2, 1, start again. Digital ID and digital currency may become the norm in developed countries in the not-too-distant future, possibly including Canada. Our federal government has been expanding its research and experimentation with digital ID, and some love the convenience this brings, but on the other hand, there are some very real privacy concerns around this technology. Joining us today is Sharon Polsky. She is the president of the Privacy and Access Council of Canada. Sharon, great to have you with us once again.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, it's been a while. But Sharon, when talking about digital identification, apparently the government is testing new digital tools, something called GC Wallet. Does this mean Government of Canada Wallet?
We're led to believe it does, but we've also been told that the government has told us that they were not going to be moving in this direction. That was late 2025, the federal government said that there wouldn't be, they didn't have a digital ID mandate, but then they said it got the go-ahead. In February of 2026, they said there would be digital ID and the project would cost only $6.6 billion, and they promised that that's all it would be, and that was for employment insurance. And it's curious because we've perhaps heard that the latest round of digital ID proposed would be for tradespeople so that they could move across the country and there'd be no question that it is truly the tradesperson who is certified. But there's what I think it's called red tag, red certification, that is an interprovincial certification. But now it seems having that physical document itself is suspect. So the government suspects or claims that these documents, by inference, are suspect as to their validity. So now we have to go to digital because that is going to be beyond suspicion. But it opens the door to so many things that people are becoming really very concerned about, because if it's digital ID for this, well, then there's what's called scope creep. It works on this, it's very convenient, but convenient for who, we have to wonder. And let's see if we can use it for that, and then for that. And as we saw in Britain recently, they proposed digital ID, and they said it would be completely voluntary, but then it turned out it's voluntary, but if you want government services, then you have to use it. So it's voluntary unless you actually need something, government services, in which case you have no option. So is that really truly voluntary?
Okay, so it looks like they're implementing this GC wallet. I understand the Immigration Department also has a pilot project underway for digital visas?
That's right. It's proliferating. Now, the government did create a database to reveal to Canadians what artificial intelligence and digital projects were underway. I've checked, and there's a few that I know of that are already implemented and in use on Parliament on the Hill, and they're not in the list.
Yeah, so if the federal government keeps insisting that there are no plans to implement mandatory digital ID, I guess the question is, why then are all these pilot projects underway?
That's right. And they're quietly testing digital ID for employment, as you say, but then they're not. And it's a couple of years ago now, they put the whole idea of central bank digital currency on pause. They didn't scrap it entirely. They just put it on pause for when it's needed. Well, I don't know a single person, whether they are fellow privacy professionals or risk people or security or people who have nothing at all to do with this, not one actually wants central bank digital currency, because when you have cash, I can pay you whatever you're asking for a product, for a service, that's all. If it's digital, every single transaction is recorded. And some people will say, well, if it's blockchain, then it's anonymous, but it's not. It can be traced. And when it's through blockchain, that's I suppose, one good thing. It's privately owned, privately controlled. When it's government, then it's something like the Bank of Canada that is controlling it, and they see absolutely every single transaction. So they know that I sent you $5 and you sent somebody else $100. And is it their business?
Right. So when we're talking about digital currency, I guess maybe explain this first, because in a way we've been dealing with our currency digitally for quite some time already with online banking and transfers. But then there's also cryptocurrency, which is a whole other thing. But are we talking about something completely different here? Are we talking about tangible physical money becoming obsolete?
That's what some governments are trying to move toward. There was one government, I believe it was Nigeria or Kenya, they introduced a CBDC, a central bank digital currency, and people objected. There was actually riots in the street. So the government said, okay, never mind, we will continue to have cash, and they reissued the currency, new design, that sort of thing, but they only issued a very, very small number of notes. So it's not like everybody could go to the bank and get cash. So you were compelled. You were stuck between a rock and a hard place. You want to buy something, you want to buy food, you have to use digital. So it's coercive. And governments, there's other governments that have tried to implement CBDCs, and it was absolutely a fail, a colossal fail, because people want their privacy. Governments don't want people to have privacy. They want to be able to see who's transacting with whom, and they're saying it's to prevent fraud and it's to prevent a second economy, drug transactions, that sort of
I
thing.
was just going to ask you, what are they saying the benefits are of this? So that's the answer
Well,
right there.
that's it.
Yeah,
Yep, to
yeah.
be able to track crime. Well, we're not all criminals, but some people say we're being treated as if we are criminals, and we just haven't shown our true colors yet.
Right, exactly. And then we see places like China. They're already using, digital ID, at least digital ID for sure, to monitor its citizens' behaviors and uses. What are they calling it? A social credit system? So that would impact everyday families.
Absolutely. But think of it, it's not just the currency. Now we have vehicles that we'll be watching as of, I believe it's January 2027. Vehicles in Europe have to monitor the driver. Make sure that you are actually looking out the windshield, looking forward
What?
enough of the time. Oh, yeah.
What is that, an eye scanner?
Everybody inside. Yep. Eye scanner, heartbeat scanner. Some are saying there needs to be breathalyzer scanners to make sure that you are not intoxicated. Everybody inside the passenger compartment of a vehicle will be monitored, and the car will automatically pull you over to the side if it detects you're not paying close enough attention, or the seat will vibrate under your rear end to wake you up if you're not paying close enough attention to the road in front of you. It's for our protection. It's to minimize road accidents. It's to prevent pedestrian collisions. It's all for our own protection. The nanny state. I mean, meantime, literally, if I have my phone that is powered off in my hand, that is distracted driving in Canada and many other jurisdictions. But if I am looking at the touch screen in my car and paying attention to that to figure out what the radio station is or to change settings, somehow that's not considered
distracted driving. No,
exactly. So it's curious, and a lot of people are questioning it, and unfortunately, a lot more people aren't questioning it, aren't questioning the people who are making the rules.
Yeah, so they're saying that the benefit of this is for our own good, basically. And on the flip side, what are the potential cons, rather? You're saying that they're going to monitor people's spending. Could this also crush dissent? How easy would it be for our government to do this?
Oh, absolutely. We already have new laws in place. The hate speech law that was just passed into law, where there's the hate speech law, there's the Bill C-34 to protect children online, which is going to require everybody to verify their age, because after all, I might be a 14-year-old kid lying about their age. We all did at some point, I'm sure. and it's to protect children from seeing online what they're not supposed to be able to see or experience in real life. You know, a kid isn't allowed to go into a sex shop. A kid isn't allowed to see the cover of Playboy, but you can just go use a web browser and go to Amazon in pretty much any country and type in various terms that, you know, sex shop, sex toy, and you're going to see a bevy of products, literally tens of thousands in Canada. I've done these searches, and you can see videos of how to use these products. It's really very entertaining, very educational, but it's not what you're supposed to be. Kids are supposed to be able to see. So is everybody going to have to verify their age before they're allowed to, I don't know, search for a pair of shoes?
Well, I guess the way that things are going, maybe your laptop will scan your retinas and it'll be able to tell who it is and their
Oh,
age and their blood
please don't
type
give them any,
and their
please
blood
don't give
type.
them any ideas. Yeah. And don't kid yourself. Apple, you can already connect your watch that can monitor your pulse and your blood pressure and other health features. You can link it to your phone, of course, to your account. You can share that information with Apple if you choose, with your physician if you choose. It's monitored.
Yeah.
Now, when you have the choice, that's one thing. When you don't really have any option, and that's called consent or choice, that's a problem. And especially since you don't really know who's getting access to this and where in the world they're getting access to it. And I'll give you an example. There's a lot of people who have, they've signed up for this feature through their car insurance company where you can earn a discount on your insurance premiums. You just install this little doohickey in your car and it monitors, and you can improve your driving habits because you can see your own dashboard, the charts, and when you speed and if you take a turn too hard or you brake too hard. The trick here is these apps you have to have the app on your phone. They do not monitor the car, they monitor the sensors in your phone.
Sharon Polsky is the president of the Privacy and Access Council of Canada.